Welcome to the VillageBoy Podcast. This is your host, Tres, and today we're having an interesting conversation about a boycott in America, North America, the United States of America, more so, of African businesses. So apparently, in some social media platforms, there's been and if you look at it, pretty much it's not having the desired traction. um but some people are just finding out now. But on August 1st, today's the 30th of July, so in basically 2 days, there's supposed to be a massive boycott of African businesses. uh, and the calls for the boycott is coming from a segment of America that identify as FBA, or foundational Black Americans. Foundational Black American literally just mean that uh, people who were in America at the founding of America, which would mean the descendants of slaves. And this group, we should not, people who are educated, people who are level-headed, normal people, should not be able to paint this group with a brush of hate and attacks, because this trading of attacks is very unnecessary. So on the Village Boy today, we are trying to understand how the foundational Blacks, a powerful group in America. I have episodes. If you go to the Village Boy platform, I've spoken at length about the might and strength of this group of people, and how this group of people can use that power to create business opportunity, because the world is coming together. The world is not separating. The internet brought people closer. Social media brought people closer. Phones and all real building roads. The goal of all of these things is to bring people to build a bigger village. It's not to separate people. So you stay in your own village, I stay in my own village, so that we are not interconnected for prosperity. For us to be able to grow as a people, you have to be able to take your soul food and create a soul food restaurant out of your neighborhood, so people that are not you, that don't look like you, are able to enjoy your soul food and spend their money enjoying the things that you produce and export. You cannot gatekeep soul food, for example. You cannot gatekeep your culture so that only you get to use your culture, your heritage, your values, your food, your music, when it's something that the rest of the world should be able to appreciate and give you the respect and recognition that is due. And so we're talking today about this massive, or not so massive, boycott, because when you look at social media, there's also a lot of Black Americans who are pushing back and saying we cannot fight ourselves. This is a classic case of Black on Black crime. It does not matter if you were a Black person that has been here before the continent even existed, if you were here before the land was even formed. It does not matter if you are Black, if you consider yourself Black, and there's a Black person from the Pacific Islands, and there's a Black person from Australia, and there's a Black person from the continent of Africa, and there's a Black person from Haiti, from Cuba, from the Dominican Republic, from Brazil. The one common factor that you all have is that you all are Black. And in a world, as we're going to see as this show carries on, in a world that is fighting for resources and 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 competition, you want to be able to bring your resources together. You want to be able to come together and say, I'm here and I'm alone and I see another Black person over there. I want to go there, and that makes us two of us. How can we put our heads together and build a partnership and forge ahead? Black Americans, and I have said this, like I said, if you go down the Village Boy podcast, you would see so many videos where I have pointed that Black Americans are the richest and strongest uh, Black people anywhere in the world, anywhere in the world. And they are a $1.2 trillion economy. The disadvantage is that it's a purchasing power economy. They don't really own any resources. They don't have any political power. They don't make decisions, but they have the ability, the buying power to the tune of $1.2 trillion, which is in itself massive, 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 right? And because it's such a powerful purchasing power, and you have an entire continent of 1.4 billion people, I have argued that if these two people, the ability to purchase $1.2 trillion and the ability to produce, come together, that is going to be fire. It's going to be a relationship, that a business relationship that has never been seen before. In other videos I've talked about when Europeans came out of the First World War and the Second World War, what America did was create an initiative called the Marshall Plan. The Marshall Plan was an initiative by America to say, I will loan you money and you're going to rebuild your countries, rebuild your factories, and you're going to sell the products that you make in those factories to America, and we can guarantee that America has the buying power to buy from you. And when America buys from you, you are able to rebuild your economy. America did that for Japan after the nuked Japan. America did that for Korea, South Korea after the Korean War. America has done that, but America has never done that for Africa, for enslaving the foundational Black Americans and those who were here before the continent was even formed. America has not done a Marshall Plan for Africa and say, okay, you guys came from colonialism, a colonial period where white Europeans or white people in general abused and your version of your own slavery. What we're going to do is we're going to give you some money to build your industries, build your factories, build your countries, build your companies, the products that you make in those countries, sell them over to us so that we have the purchasing power to buy and you can build your economy. So that was never done for the continent of Africa. And that's why this partnership between Black Americans, because you're not going to count on white people to do this for you when you can look at your Black brothers and sisters over there. They're very rich, very wealthy, and say, how can I make you money? How can I start a business that also puts money? It's not a one-way traffic. You are investing in this business. You own part of the business. You're drilling. I, for one, when I saw the presidents that came to America not too long ago to talk to Donald Trump, I was hoping that there's a Black American delegation that would be able to also talk to these presidents and say, how can we leverage a relationship between Black America and Africa to in such a way where we're pooling Black businesses, Black American businesses to the continent to create industries, farming, because you have the ability, you have the knowledge. But see, that was not done. Those presidents came and saw Donald Trump and promised him gold and silver instead of promising to the Black American business chamber, economic chamber. But coming back to this boycott, who are the people calling for this boycott? Like I said, it's the foundational Black Americans. So basically, a group of people that need to come together to create a business structure are actually now fighting one another, which is essentially Black on Black crime. And when we look at foundational Black Americans, we can be quick to just say every Black American is a participant, a willing participant in this group, but that's not true. The truth of the matter is that there was a group called ADOS, ADOS, American Descendants of Slaves, right? And this group was a very, very confused group, very misdirected, very, it's kind of like a pressure group, one of those kind of groups that if you left them unchecked, they could probably become like a terrorist group, like a Hamas or Hezbollah, or one of those kind of crazy kind of groups out there. So ADOS was teetering to something like that because they were pushing for reparations for slavery. And trust me, I've seen American government apologize for Holocaust, for something that they were not part of it. Not saying the Holocaust was not bad, it was bad, but America had no role to play in the Holocaust. And America took upon itself to find a new home for the victims of the Holocaust. America has taken upon itself to essentially gatekeep Israel, fund Israel, protect Israel at the expense of Americans, at the expense of the people that America itself held hostage as slaves. What America does for Israel, America does not even do for Black folks. America does not even do for foundational Black people, for people that generationally have been enslaved by this same America. You just don't cut my chains after 300 years of abusing me and saying now we are equal. No, it doesn't work like that. You have to be able to educate me. You have to be able to give me the resources so that I can compete and I can be resourceful. And you have to be able to protect me. One of the things that they never did was protect their enslaved Black population. But you could see how they reference and protect victims of the German Holocaust, which is a debt that Germany owes to Israel. But America took upon itself to buy that debt and pay for that debt. But America never looked at its own problem that it caused. And now we're dealing with that problem. So over the years, Black Americans have been the second minority, the second population in America for at least 200-300 years, for as long as this country has existed, until the floodgates of immigration were opened and Hispanics have overtaken Black folks. And because Blacks don't have that leverage to fight the second in command now, this aids people that have lost the battle, because America is not going to give them the reparations that they're looking for. They have come down to it's a small group. It's a very small, nobody really pays them attention. They've not been able to harness that platform of hatred and division between Black people, because that's what ADOS really stood for. It was division and hatred between peoples of every color. And so nobody gave them that platform. Nobody gave them that space to excel in their division and hatred. And so they redefined themselves. So foundational Black Americans were just normal, everyday Black Americans. But the name itself, foundational Black Americans, what does that mean? Right? Because they were trying to separate themselves from descendants of slaves. So say foundation means we were part of the founding of this country. Right, we were part of the fabric of this country, this great country. We were there at the beginning, though the reasons why we were here were different. And in one of my shows, I've argued that the only two groups of people in America that cannot be called immigrants are Black Americans who came as slaves and the Aboriginal Americans who were here when the colonialist settlers Europeans came. So when they say America is a country of immigrants, that is 80% true. But there are some people in this country. An immigrant is somebody who voluntarily goes to another place to seek a better life, to stay there short term or long term. Long term as permanently or as long as you want, as legally allowed. So that's who an immigrant is. It's a voluntary decision to move from here over there for whatever reasons that have motivated you in that new country that you're moving to. The Black foundational Americans cannot be labeled as immigrants because they never made the decision to come over here like any other person. Correct? So those would be founding members of the country, Europeans, make the decision. They were running away from Europe. They were looking for a reasons. Even the settlers, they were looking for newfound lands. They were newfound land. They were looking for resources. They were looking for a place to build. So that's why they add the settler in their name, colonial settlers. But they were looking for something. So essentially, they are immigrants. It's just that in their case, they didn't have a specific destination that they were earmarking and saying, we're going here for X, Y. But when they left Europe, they were looking. And when they found the Americas, they came back to Europe. And the people who were interested to move from Europe and create a new colony, a new place that would be different from Europe, joined the voyage and moved to America. So immigrants, no different than the immigrants that are coming in today in America across the world. So immigrants have come, and that's what makes America unique. America is not Europe. America is not Canada. America is not Australia. America is not New Zealand. America is not Japan. America is not China. America is not Singapore. America is not Nigeria. North America, United States of America is none of these countries. These are countries that the people in their countries are inherently founded on the basis of that land. They were there, they came from somewhere and settled there. They speak the native language of that land. Hasn't really changed a lot over the years, but that's what it is. America is not that country. And that's why you could say it's a country of immigrants, because people came here to build this country. There was a vision, and everybody kept pouring into that vision. Everybody kept pouring to grow that vision. So the Africans that are coming from Africa are also immigrants like the Europeans. Till this very day, Europeans are still coming from Europe to live a better life in America. People are living the United Kingdom, people are leaving France, people are leaving Australia, people are leaving New Zealand, people are leaving Eastern Europe, because Eastern Europe is poor right now and struggling. These white people are leaving those countries and coming over to set up and start shop in America. One of such example would be Donald Trump's grandfather. Donald Trump is just the second generation. His grandfather came from Germany with his German wife. They came and had Donald Trump's father in New York. But if you look at Donald Trump, you may think that this is his history, his legacy goes, his legacy goes 10 generations back. And even if your legacy goes 10 generations back, that is 10 generations to your time when you came to America. So if somebody's generation goes 2 weeks back, that's how far they go. So you don't lay claims to a land when it's you just went back 10 generations and somebody just goes back 2 weeks, one generation, two generations. That is the beauty and uniqueness of America. So, and America, the appellation America has thrown off, and this is unique with America, with a lot of appellation. The label "I am American" has thrown off a lot of things, has distorted a lot of originality. And why do I say this? I say this because the the continent of North America is made up of countries, the three major countries in North America: Canada, the United States of America, Mexico. This is continental North America. And you have Central America that technically is part, because Central America is not a standalone continent. So it's also part of North America, right? So you have your Haiti, your Cuba, your Jamaica, all the islands that make up Central America. El Salvador, Honduras, all of these countries. Just as you call the people from the continent of Africa as Africans, you call the people from the continent of North America Americans. But because the citizens of the United States of America have made that name Americans their name, it 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 makes it difficult for a Canadian to say I'm American, or for a Mexican to say I'm American, or for a Jamaican, a Haitian to say I'm American, for a Cuban, a Dominican Republic, the guy, all of those islands from El Salvador, Honduran, to say I'm American. I'm American too because I share this continent with you. An Egyptian is an African, a South African is an African. A Mozambican is an African, and a Tunisian is an African. A Chinese is an Asian. A Japanese is an Asian. An Indian is an Asian. A Pakistani is an Asian. But see, most times, if you see an Indian and you see a Chinese, you would implicitly assume that the Chinese is Asian and the Indian is Indian. A person from Bangladesh is Asian. A person from Malaysia, Laos, Myanmar, Nepal, Asians. But we are mostly focused on Asians when we see Koreans, Chinese, Japanese will say those are Asians. And then Indians will just say those are Indians. It's that appellation that throws us off. And so this is the intro, because this is going to be segments where we're not having a long drawn out video. So this is going to be the intro, because I was trying to have people understand that when you say FBA, Foundational Black Americans, a Haitian can also say I'm a foundational Black American, but I'm just on the Asian side because I came to Haiti on a slave boat, just as you came to Jamestown on a slave boat. How did the Black people in Jamaica come there? Have you ever looked at the history between Haiti and I have a podcast here trying to educate Black Americans that they need to understand that they are relationally tied with Haitians more than any other group, because the pain and suffering that's going on in Haiti today is directly tied with protecting and alienating the Black Americans of America, because they did not want the Black Americans of America to know that the Black people of Haiti are free and have been able to fight for their freedom, so that these Black Americans here fight for their freedoms too. And those two nations, if they had been able to fuse together, get together, who knows the type of Black country that Haiti would have been if America did not protect its own Black people from knowing and it inherently punishing severely Haiti. And a Black American would permit himself or herself, and look down on Haiti when America has significantly looked the other way and punished Haiti when they fought for their freedom. And Haiti today is still paying the price for those punishments meted by American and European friends and allies. And today, when a Haitian comes to America, an ADOS is going to say, I'm a descendant of slave. Talking to another descendant of slave, I see you are more of a descendant of slave than they are a descendant of slave. Haitians are mostly descendants of slaves too. Jamaicans, how did they get there? How did any Black person get to the Caribbeans? How did Black people get to Brazil? It's about the same timeline. If you are a descendant of slave in the United States of America, understand that there are other descendants of slaves who are Blacks that come from Haiti, Jamaica, Cuba, and all of these North American countries. And they can call themselves American descendants of slaves just as you. That is a historic fact, because they are from North America. If they were from Asia, if they were from Europe, if they were from any other place, they cannot use the name America. America does not exclusively belong to the United States of America. And when I have a conversation with somebody that cannot understand this little nuance, this little technicality in understanding that the continent of North America belongs to all the countries. America is the most powerful and the largest economy, yes, but the little island of Cuba is also part of North America. And they can be called, at least at very least, North American. I am North American. And the United States of American citizen is also a North American. So when you see a group that is a pressure group pushing to fight its brothers and sisters, the first thing that you must do is ask why and understand the history behind that conversation. Because for the very long time, for the longest of time, FBA's foundational Black Americans, and for me, that means a lot of people. Foundational Black Americans can mean foundational people of the United States of America, foundational people in Jamaica, foundational people in Haiti, foundational people in Cuba. They're all Americans to me. But I also understand the uniqueness that saying American, you expressly mean the United States of America. But I also play to the advantage that you cannot say America and then you're excluding everybody that's part of North America and South America at the very least. So where is this boycott from? That would be on the second episode. So if you're liking this episode, hit the like button, comment. This was just a historic intro into the boycott. We will get into the boycott in the second part of this series.